Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old tree.
You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. This show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Give them a call at 763-441-1334 and tell them Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give us a call at 952-922-2500.
Are you a volunteer in your homeowner association? Maybe a residential property manager wanting to increase your industry knowledge and obtain professional credentials in property management. Are you a vendor or professional offering services to homeowners and associations or property managers? If you said yes to any one of those questions, then join the Community Association Institute. The CAI is a great organization, helping you be informed and more proficient in your homeowner association board member or property manager role. It's also a great way to network with potential clients. For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit cai-mn.com to learn more. That's cai-mn.com. The Minnesota chapter of CAI holds monthly managers' luncheons, board member education training, property manager certification training, and much more. It also produces a bi-monthly informative magazine called Minnesota Community Living. Why not join the Community Association Institute today? You can do so online at cai-mn.com and select membership.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about our first story from Property Management in the News. A Connecticut property management company managing a condo association in Bristol, Connecticut, has not been paying the water bill for this homeowners association for 3 years. We've been talking about what are all the possible reasons that this could be taking place. And in our first segment, we kind of ruled out the idea that it's probably not because the association has money, because that means the board would have to be saying don't pay, and they would not authorize payment. And what possible reason would they have if they live there? They don't want to see any services cut off. The management company, probably not likely, because if you're delinquent in your fundamental duties for 3 years, it's not likely you're going to continue to have that contract for very long. So now we're talking about what are some of the other reasons, and that would be that the association doesn't have the money. And why wouldn't they have money? Well, embezzlement might be the case. Well, we've kind of ruled that out too, because over a 3-year period, there isn't anything where anybody has said that anybody's been secretive with the financials at all. That's not the case. As a matter of fact, I went online to the Homeowner Association's website, and I was able to read the last 2 years' worth of board meeting minutes, and there was nothing being hidden with the financial standing of the Homeowners Association at all. Plus, if it were embezzlement, I think that's even a more salacious story, and I think the news media would have picked up on that even more so. So that's not it. But what are some of the other reasons then why the association doesn't have money? Why isn't the management company paying the bills? Why are they being blamed? Well, another possible scenario then, if the association doesn't have money, could be that the board is misspending the money. Again, Homeowners Association has a budget put together, and that budget has line items of different things that make up the operations for that property of what needs to be taken care of. Now, there's two types of spending or expenses. There are fixed expenses and discretionary expenses. The fixed expenses are the items like the insurance at the property, probably snow plowing when you're in Connecticut, because you're not going to get very far when it snows without that. There are things that you got to pay for, you can't take care of. Other things are more discretionary. Now, you would think the water bill would be considered not a discretionary, but a fixed item, but apparently it didn't get paid. What would be the reason? Did the board misspend money? Possibly they were saying, oh, there are other things that need to be done or that we want to have done, and they spent their money that way. This would be the same as a family who said, you know what, instead of paying the mortgage this month, I think we're going to take the family on a 2-week vacation to Cancun. Is that what is happening? Are they misspending their money? I don't think so. Again, like I said, I went through the website for the Ferrari Homeowners Association. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? A name like Ferrari. You would think with a name like Ferrari, there wouldn't be any money issues, but maybe there are because it's like a Ferrari, it's a money pit, and there's a lot more they have to throw down that hole. But that's not it. When I was looking through some of the minutes of the board meetings that had taken place, they were dealing with projects like a repair to a load-bearing beam in the basement. That's pretty important. They were dealing with mold issues in the condominium association. They were dealing with railings. That was a safety issue. So here you had, looks like, a number of things that are very important, safety issues that needed to be taken care of, but things that probably weren't accounted for in the operations. So could money have been misspent? Possibly. There could have been a little bit of that. What is another scenario? Well, we could also take a look at the homeowners aren't meeting their responsibility to pay it all or to pay on time. Remember, there's that quote from that one person. She said, "We are paying all of our bills on time, and we're being told that the management company hasn't paid the bill." Well, that's really not true. That might have been her particular perception, and I'm not saying that she was trying to be deceptive, but she didn't necessarily know all of the facts. Had she been paying attention to the minutes of the board meetings for the last couple years, they would have seen topics like this that was discussed each and every month. Here were some of those common items or themes. One was delinquencies. So I guess not everybody was paying. Now, we know this was a small condo association. How do we know that? Well, number one, I know that because of the size of the bill. $18,000 for a 3-year water bill. You're probably looking at an 18 to 21 unit building. And the reason I know that is that you take a look at the average cost of water for a family. For one person a month is about $25 to $30 a month. You divide 18 by the 18,000 over 3 years, you get about $27 and some change each and every month. So we're talking about a smaller association. Now that could have some bearing, couldn't it? Because when you have less people in an association, the impact of one or two has a greater effect than that on a larger association. You know, when we manage a rental property, if one person has one vacant unit in a 100-unit building, that's a 1% vacancy, a 99% occupancy. But when we rent out a single-family home and no one's in there, that's a 100% vacancy. So you can take a look. If there are a few people that are being delinquent, which was the case here, the association may not have had the money that's coming in time to pay those bills. And so if that's the case, then you have a case of the squeaky wheel getting the oil, or in this case, the money. And there are probably a lot of people other than the municipality being very direct about payment. Could it be that the homeowners weren't allowing the board to raise the monthly assessment to where they should be? Well, that is, I think, the case too, because again, as I went through the minutes of the homeowner association for the last couple years, they had as a common theme the idea of having special meetings and a vote on special assessments, which means they needed more money because they understood they needed more money. They weren't able to make both ends meet. So what we have here is, if you were just to take a look at face value, what the homeowner association was being portrayed by the news media, you would have thought that once again, you're looking at a management company that was just mismanaging funds. When you look at it a little bit further, you realize that that's really not taking place at all. let's wrap this up. And remember a quote from the person from the utilities department. He said, "We can no longer have people go 3 years without paying their water bill." And of course you can't. It's number one, it's unfair to others who do pay on time. Number two, it's unable to sustain that kind of generosity, no matter who they are, no matter what the government or the size of that government is. To be able to sustain that kind of generosity, you can't continue to do that. So where does the money come from? It has to come from the people who are using that service. So what we really have here, what appears to me, just seems to be the economic hard times that a homeowner association has had, just like a lot of homeowners have had over the last few years. And in this case, it looks like the squeaky wheel in this case was not the water department, but now it is. And I bet you there's going to be something that's going to be worked out soon. And for the sake of the Ferrari Condominium Association, I hope that is the case. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, I've got two guests that I'd like to introduce you to. So don't go away. A lot more of Where You Live after these messages.